Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon if you may be in Sweden. My name is Alex Westholm. I'm here with the rest of Team Taurus. We are here to present to you a little bit of background on the green technology industry in Sweden. We're going to attempt to provide you with a definition of this somewhat nebulous field. And we're going to talk a little bit about how green technology has come to prominence in Sweden and also the opportunities for Swedish firms in the United States. So with regard to definitions, the first thing that we'd like to do is talk about what it means to be green. And basically, green as a concept refers to improving the environmental state. As a business concept, that doesn't really talk about much. So from there, we look to the green tech and clean tech industries. And in practice, green tech and clean tech have emerged to be somewhat synonymous, but it's useful to look at the historical origins of the terms where there is actually a difference. Clean tech is something that arose primarily around the time of the early 2000s from investment circles where technologists realized that producers of technology were coming up with solutions to climate problems that had the potential for immense long-term growth because they were actually of the nature that the world could become dependent on. This is in contrast to green technology, which is predominantly historically concerned with the greening of existing industries and basically taking processes and businesses that existed prior to a greater global awareness of environmental problems and helping them to overcome the problems that they have introduced. But regardless of the terminology that you choose, one common thread that runs amongst all of these businesses is that they seek to enable green growth. And green growth is basically the idea that we can create sustainable economic growth, sustainability in the environment, and social responsibility through sustainable development. So what exactly is sustainable development? Sustainable development is a concept that is fundamental to all of this. And basically, it is that we need to be able to meet our current needs, those of every member of the society, in a way that does not detract from the ability of future generations, as far on out as we can think, from meeting their needs as well. And in practice, green technology in the United States versus Sweden has been adopted by the populace in dramatically different ways. In the United States, green technology is still very nascent. It's something that not all of us regularly think about. And it's because of that, in order to really commit to living up to green standards, we have to be active in our thought with respect to that. In other words, you see things such as green guides for living in cities. People don't necessarily know how to go about being green, and they certainly don't take it as something that's expected and required of them. This is in stark contrast to Sweden, where as a nation, there has been a trend towards taking wasteful outputs and transforming them into positive inputs for other processes. And we have several examples here, including a development in a city that has basically taken every possible waste output and transformed that into, as I said, a new input. And my colleague Yo will tell you a little bit more about that.
What I want to talk about is two examples of the cities in Sweden. One city is this one called Kalmar. It is greatly dependent on private vehicles, which is similar to the US. But the publicly owned cars and buses and an increasing amount of private business vehicles run on biogas or 85% of ethanol. So the fuel switch is not only cutting fuel bills, but also the preserving jobs despite the worldwide recession. In addition, 90% of the regional's electricity comes from hydropower, nuclear power, and windmills. This is another city. This is the place we are going. It's Malmo. And this is a project in the Western Harbor in Malmo. It was a former shipyard and industry site, and it's now turned into a residential area which will use renewable energies. It will use renewable energies as 100% of its energy sources. The energy sources include biogas, wind turbines, solar panels, and water from limestone aquifers provide heat in winter and cooling in the summer. Sweden's goal is for homes to reduce their energy consumption by 4%. But in Western Harbor, the homes have reduced energy consumptions by 40%. It will eventually house 10,000 residents and accommodate 20,000 employees and students. Urban drain systems that captures rainwater in green roofs, courtyard ponds, and channels. So Malmo's green solution includes wind, solar power, underground aqueducts, green space factors, and green points. This project is funded by Swedish government and also by the EU. The Swedish government provides 34 million US dollars, while the EU provides 2.4 million US dollars for this project. I'll turn it to